Joining us now is the Federalist senior editor, Mollie Hemingway. And Mollie, of course, last night was a big night. What is your reaction? And also to what Dagan just revealed about the voters.
Right. Well, Donald Trump has no opponents, so you expect him to have a good night, and he certainly did in West Virginia. There were places where he got nearly 90% of the vote, much better than what happened in Nebraska, where 40% still voted against him. But one of the most interesting exit polls out of West Virginia showed that Democrats are going to vote for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders voters told pollsters they would vote for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. So that shows again that Donald Trump has appeal with independents and Democrats, and that's going to help him in the general.
Okay, so Mollie, we're looking at a real scenario where that is happening, because I go back to, again, I think it was Charlie Hurt, with whom I spoke, who said that, look, this is not a reality, where if they're not going to vote for Hillary, they're going to go Republican and vote for Donald Trump. He called it a Republican fantasy. You're saying this is a real thing?
I think it is a real thing, and I think it actually is related to what we just heard about Republican voters. People are angry at the government, and we have spent so much time focusing on that aspect in the Republican primary. It's also true in the Democratic primary. I mean, Hillary Clinton should have this totally wrapped up, and yet she struggled last week. She lost Indiana. She lost West Virginia, a state she won 8 years ago, and she's got tough races ahead in Kentucky and Oregon. This is a bipartisan issue that is really shaking up the way this,
All right,
this
and Donald Trump still doesn't have the Republican Party wrapped up, so to speak. I mean, he's waiting for the party to unite behind him. He says he can win anyway, even if they don't. But he's meeting with House Speaker Paul Ryan tomorrow. What do you expect out of that?
Well, I think this was a really savvy move on the part of Paul Ryan, who represents a pretty big swath of Republican voters who haven't been very happy with the way Donald Trump is running to the left of Hillary Clinton in some cases. And so it was kind of a win-win for Ryan. He either gets Donald Trump to start sounding a bit more conservative, or he has clearly shown that he is different from Donald Trump, and he will fight him where necessary. But he put it in such a modest way. He said, I want to support Donald Trump. I want to get behind him. And the base of the party does want to. They want to beat Hillary Clinton.
But Mollie,
do you think that
anything's actually going to get done, or do you think he's just meeting with him because he kind of has to because it'll look good? I mean, do you think that they're actually going to find any common ground, and on what?
Yeah, I hope they will, and I certainly think they could. They do share enough policy ideas, or they could share enough policy ideas. Donald Trump has said that he's going to wait on policy until after he's elected. That's probably not going to be enough to get actual Republicans who are the sort of passion of the party, the excitement of the party, on board with him. And I think he does need that, even though currently he's reaching out to Bernie Sanders voters in a way that might make it hard for him to still reach out to conservatives.
All right, Mollie, and let's talk about potential vice president, the running mate for Donald Trump. Who do you think it might be? He has, by the way, and we want to listen to this first, he says that he's narrowed it down to a few people. He's not naming names, but here's what he says. I want to get your response.
You say, the Associated Press is reporting, Trump has narrowed potential VPs to 5, all experienced politicians, not ruling out Chris Christie. Is that an accurate report?
Well, I like Chris a lot. I'm not going to say ruling in or out. I would say that I have in mind 5 different people. I think they're excellent. I'll announce whoever it will be at the convention.
Mollie, who do you think it might be?
You know, I think he should really shake things up. I think he has opportunity here to do things very different from the way.
Who would be shaking it up? Who would that choice be?
This is my crazy idea, but I thought Mike Rowe would be an awesome guy, the one who's always talking about the importance of vocational education. He's sort of like Trump in that he's an entertainer, a reality television star.
Wait, the dirty jobs guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
I think that I think that Donald.
Mollie, come on.
That's a lot. I mean, I love Mike Rowe, and I'll watch him like, you know, sweep a floor. But the American voter would not, I don't think, be so quick to digest 2 people who come from the entertainment industry.
If you think back to how Bill Clinton did it when he was running, he just doubled down on who he was. People said that he couldn't win. He went with another Southern, moderate Democrat when he picked Al Gore. He didn't try and do that thing that people do where they pick someone very different from him. And it worked out well for Bill Clinton in 1992.
So then he'd pick Chris Christie. Then he would pick another kind of vocal.
A governor.
I'm being my Southern self. He would pick another vocal Northeastern dude.
Yeah, or he could pick someone like Newt Gingrich, who would actually reassure conservatives that actual conservative policies would be put forth. I mean, he has a lot of options. He could also pick no one, which is another sort of outside-the-box way of looking at it, where different, you could let the convention pick someone, and you could have them run sort of separately.
We can honestly say that's the first time we've heard that.
Yeah,
Mollie.
I think Mike Rowe might be watching and wondering what's going on right now. But Mollie, when you look at where the political play plays out in this country, you have the fights, you have the differences. Unity is part of what happens after you have a presumptive nominee. People start coalescing around, okay, we have more in common. That's natural. There will always be those that'll fall on their sword, but I'm back to how the process works. For the American people, if you want gridlock in Hillary Clinton, go ahead and support some other party, be an Eric Erickson and go third party, or suggest that. Those are all failed strategies.
Well, I think you're going to see people coalesce around Trump. He is the only option right now for opposing Hillary Clinton. But you're probably not going to see that passion and excitement that you want to have in your base. And
actually, there has been that passion. He's won the evangelicals in the South. He won the most Catholic county in North Carolina. He's delivered on that. The electorate's changed, and political gravity, frankly, it's a little bit upside down.
Everything is very different, but when you're talking about people who can actually do those on-the-street conversations, admitting to people that they're going to vote for Trump, you want him to give you a little bit more reason that you can publicly state that you are willing to support him and get those advocates and people who are going to reach out to a more moderate voter.
All right, Mollie Hemingway, great to have you. Some fresh perspective. Mike Rowe for VP for Donald Trump.
Or nobody.
But we do appreciate you bringing your thoughts and your perspective. Good to have you.